and welcome back to So Much Games. We are getting back into some D&D, A Winter in Aris, and I'm joined by my lovely players once more. I shall just shortly introduce them, but I would just want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy. So we'll start with Lewis. Tell us about your character.
Hello, I'm Lewis, and I'm playing Ivelios du Roche, fantastic, noble hero of the revolution, and dab hand with a pistol, and he's a furball.
During the whole war that was going on, and with these sort of black market contacts was just selling forgeries to people that thought they were ripping off the country. Victimless crimes.
Exactly. Aldun?
Hello, I'm Aldun. I will be playing Ignatius Fireborn Lightbringer, a team.
So
thank you.
Yeah.
Teamwork.
Yeah. And Evie? Diddy?
Hi, I'm Virginie, playing Avril Hunt, the Huffle Sage librarian. And basically, he decided in the last episode to become the Watson to the Sherlock of the adventuring party. So he's going to write everything down.
Town, and you went into the tavern, the Harmony Hut, and kind of got a lay of the land, but you also ran back into the knight who was, let's say, influenced by his drinks and didn't want to go to an important diplomatic mission that he had tomorrow. So he fobbed it off on you guys because why not? These things aren't important.
We got him very drunk, didn't we?
You did, yes.
We did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Feels slightly
though it wasn't that manipulative though, because he just spent all day on his horse in his armor, so he was probably just relishing a chance to.
Also didn't seem to take that much effort.
No, he was. Yeah, he definitely was like, "Oh no, you're getting me to drink some glug 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 glug." Yeah. You then kind of slept for the night, reconvened, got a wagon out to Penk, which is the port town where the diplomatic talks were being held, and you then, on the trip there, the wagon driver kind of gave you a somewhat disconcerting response that the local wildlife, particularly the birds, had been growing silent over the past 6 months, and he doesn't know why. And we ended, where we'll be starting, is the four of you on the wagon coming into Penk, and I shall now give a quick description. Up further of New Aris, which is the new state that has taken over Drus. The buildings are relatively, I can take you back if you want, or you can walk. It's not an issue to me.
Cheers, drive.
Yeah, no problem.
Don't forget to post my letters.
I won't.
More criminal contacts in the area.
This would be the place.
Is there anyone here I know who might be able to start advising me on materials I would need? Because obviously I can't
know the intricacies of replicating something like this. There is also, I mean, it's not a jewelry shop, but the implication being it's your personal history, like who you know. Because unsurprisingly, criminals are really not forthcoming when somebody they don't know comes up and goes, "Hello there, I would like to enact in criminal activities with you." What's everyone else want to do?
Is there a library?
There is not, unfortunately. Yes, no.
Is there a local religious place?
Yes, there is. There is one of the many shrines, as they're called, but it's one building. But you would know that as a. So basically, offhandedly, I hate them doing so much world building. Basically, offhandedly,
we love it.
I like it.
Yeah.
The way that they kind of handled all these faiths, because they didn't want to leave anyone out, mostly because if you did, they'd get their pitchforks. Was that they made what are called the many shrines, which is a euphemistic way of saying that the old church had everybody's, religious things put in there, and they have to share, so everyone gets a bit of space. Which, as you can imagine, is one of those nice golden everybody is upset compromises, but because everyone is upset, nobody's really, it's a good kind of leveler. Everyone's pissed off with the government, but that is what happens. So if you want to go in there, you would, but there would be other worshippers of different faiths.
That's all right.
and
Avril,
gods.
do you want to go observe some other faiths and see how they do it? Might be some
Actually,
books in it.
Don't take those ones away. They're not for taking away books.
Yeah, I was gonna see if there's like a local booksellers or something.
The curiosity shop that I described would have books and stuff. It is, as I said, it's not really the kind of place that deals in. It's kind of a little bit more rundown, but that business has opened up because hey, stuff comes off people's boats, mostly legally, sometimes not so legally. But yeah, it comes off. Yeah, so that curiosity shop would be where you'd be going. And Evelios, do you have any plans?
Is there anywhere around here that sells like herbs and plants and things like that?
Yes, there's an apothecary, which would be quite near the church because those two businesses, well, not businesses, those two occupations kind of go hand in hand, I guess you could say. But they are different people.
I would like to visit them.
Okay, so Renard, what are you wanting to do? Are you wanting to go?
Yeah, I've thought more on my forging plan, and I'm actually going to want to buy materials for creating like a plaster cast because I don't want to be showing the actual amulet to people asking them to copy it. So if I want to make my own rough copy
that's
first,
more in your price range, dramatically more if you're wanting to make something like that.
Yeah, and then I can show a rough copy and ask for a better looking copy.
That definitely though would be a criminal contact because neither of the legitimate businesses would. I guess the blacksmith might know the rudiment.
I'll go for criminal contacts. That's okay.
Okay. Apologies. Do you have any like background trait that relates to that, or no?
No, I don't believe so in roguishness.
Okay. Because I know one or two of the backgrounds are like, hey, you know some sketchy people because you're a sketchy person.
No, I got the thieves can't, so I can talk in thief and kind of more cat burglary. So
yeah, that's no bother.
Second story work, so climbing doesn't cost me stuff. So I'm kind of a break into places thing. If I have no criminal contact, then I will try and find a local sculptor and maybe steal their supplies.
That's fine. Did you roll history to see if you would know anyone? Was it not a good roll?
Yeah, I just rolled it. It is not a good roll.
Okay.
8.
What's 8? Yeah, I would say that you probably know a couple people, but you don't know them. It's definitely a friend of a business partner of an acquaintance kind of knowing. So yeah, not really wise to go up to them. You could maybe find an artisan who might be selling this stuff. What I'll say for simplicity, because I imagine the good folks at home probably want us to do something rather than just talk. Well, I guess it's all talking, but semantics. I will say that the curiosity shop might have arts supplies that relate to that.
Wander along there.
Though I will say this, just for obvious statement, it's unlikely it's impossible because I am the GM, so I know this, that you'll find a cast that is a perfect visual representation. You'd have to make that.
Yes.
But like the little chisel and the actual material, the plaster of Paris would
plaster of Aris.
Aris. Oh fucking oh no. Oh no. Yes. That and again, people would have had this, and it's a fantasy world. So yeah. Okay, so we'll do the church and the apothecaries first. I would just say for simplicity, the pair of you are going in basically the same direction, but then we'll split that off. So does anyone have any qualms going first, or cool? Then it'll be Audun. Or sorry, it would be Ignatius. I got there in the end. So Ignatius, you approach this very old church. This definitely is from what would be called the old faith, which is so old people don't actually know what they worshipped, but it's old. It's a kind of a very small single-story building made from very, very, very worn stone. 8 cents. Unfortunately, quite a lot of incense. Different faiths have different incense they burn, and they're all kind of mixing in a not very nice way. Which there is, however, a lot of shrines, like a ridiculous amount. I don't know if you've been to Penk before, but it seems that they kind of cover a lot of bases here. You've got stuff from all across the central continent, and you've also got a lot of folk deities, or local ones, which are hewn of quite rough wood or stone. There is a priest who comes forward. He is completely shaven, bald, with tattoos that cover his face. You're not entirely sure what his faith is. However, again, general rule, you don't need to be of the faith to take care of the general maintenance of it.
So, the faith, yes.
Yeah. So he approaches you and says, yes, how can I help you? The wormwood is over there. It's for the... oh, heavens, what's that one called? Never mind. I'll have to look at the books again. That's one of the ones in the far back, though.
It's nice. It reminds me of home.
Oh, well, that's good to hear.
Bit of sulphur, and I'd be right there, wouldn't I?
Of course, yes. I was wondering, do you wish to pray to any one of the idols? Do you need religious guidance? Is there anything I can offer you?
It was guidance. I myself am a practitioner of Solas.
Oh, of course, yes. He gestures, and you do see Solas. She's nestled very closely between some other idols, but
I'm gonna wave.
She's in her traditional pose, which is of two hands reaching forth upwards like this, and it's wrought of gold. Although, and perhaps this is a slight embarrassment, but not a lot of Solas things are actually like solid gold. That's too expensive. So it's probably
fine. It reflects life's journey.
Exactly.
The outward glint merely covers up the wood and the stone within.
Exactly. Yeah.
I will make the returning symbol of the bringing the hands together on the head.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He says, so what guidance do you seek then, brother?
I have felt a disturbance in the spiritual firmament around this area, and I wish to receive guidance from those that are more, of this area.
Disturbance, you say? Well, it's like a large turkey that would come and visit, but he's not been in, I would say, 6 months. Yes. To answer your question, though, unfortunately, I am not in tune with the spiritual planes as a worshipper of Solas would be. I roughly hewn statues.
So that would be you're a local.
Yes.
And Gwent demands the no hair and the drawing on your face.
Oh no, this is just a fashion.
That's just you.
Symbol.
Okay,
yeah,
that's fine. I've got horns. Who am I to talk?
Yeah, no, it's okay. Quite a lot of people ask that. It's quite sweet. But this is just a personal thing I do for myself.
It's nice. Did you do it yourself?
Oh no, I'm not that talented. There's a tattooist. He's lovely person.
What's his name? I might get some work done while I'm here.
Dave.
Because
I didn't think you'd ask me that. And names are my kryptonite.
Names and romance. Yep.
The two kryptonites.
All right. Sorry, what was your name?
My name was Parcellus.
That is a very lovely name, Parcellus.
Thank you.
Have you got any brothers? What are they called?
No.
I hear
sisters, maybe parents.
Yeah.
Aunts and uncles.
Did your parents bring you up? No,
cousins.
it's cruel. It's too cruel.
No.
All right. So Dwent's a local.
Yes.
Spirit,
Mm-hmm.
God. Don't want to diminish. Don't want to be rude about other people.
There's not a lot of worshippers of Dwent anymore.
Is it just you?
Yes, it is just me. It's
wow. So your brothers and sisters not interested?
I'm an only child.
Oh, right. Is that your parents' choice or just an act? Oh, I'm sorry, very personal question.
It was my mother's, actually. A single mother.
I respect her life path.
Yes.
as a practitioner of Solas, we all have the steps that we take along our lives,
Exactly.
and none may judge,
But yes,
but many will.
Dwent's specific teaching is that, as many local spirits, is not to become too enamored with the, shall we say, distractions of the spiritual world. We believe in the physical plane and how, and I will say offhandedly, you would know that a lot of what are referred to as folk deities are about that. The spiritual world is not something they're interested in, and it's about the here and now.
So you've got a more sort of practical deity, is what I'm hearing.
Yes. Dwent is, well, he, over the years, he's taken on quite a lot of particular attributes, but he was originally a carpenter deity. He who taught the people of this land, where he might have not taught them well, because Dwent doesn't really look like anything in particular. He just kind of looks like maybe it's a person, but it's really like they took a file to this statue to really
the
to
original statue was just the first person who tried to teach carpentry. Like, oh yeah, you've done a great job. It's you,
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you've got Dwent. Is there? Which is nice, and it's just you and Dwent. Do you talk a lot? How does it work?
Oh, well, on occasion, yes, I've had a spiritual connection, but no, I've never had the fortune to speak directly to him.
Right. And how does one commune with Dwent? Do I do a bit of wood carving?
Yes.
Bring some
Often
wood shavings. How does it work?
Yes, you've aptly found it out. It's usually through the act of making wooden objects. I've made quite a few of the wooden structures here. To be fair, they do look quite sturdy. The chairs and the pews and all that, they actually do look competently made.
Can I try out a pew?
Yes, of course, yes.
I'm gonna sit on my 6 foot demonic butt.
It does hold. What I will say is you were definitely shown pictures of the Church of Solas, which is actually in the capital, which is this beautifully ornate and well-crafted thing. These pews are not that. They're very much function over fashion, very rustic, one could say, but not in that kind of like aspiring sense, just very much this was a pew, this is what I wanted, I've made a pew. He's very proud of it, and it is made. It's not like the statue, which is quite hacked. But yeah,
you've done some very nice work here.
Well, thank you. I try to be accommodating to all of the beliefs here. It can be hard, but the pews help.
Right.
Sometimes they need mats and other paraphernalia. We try to accommodate as best we can.
All right.
Yes. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No. If it is all right with you, I will just take a few moments with Solas, commune and reconnect, and
of course,
just record my latest steps.
So silently. There are a lot of people in here, so you find a peaceful place to pray. We shall now go to Evelios. So you enter the apothecaries. It also smells of not just incense, but a lot of things in here. However, that's because they sell it. You are greeted by a very, very, very short woman who is made up for in height by a very big, I'm going to fuck this word up. Is it a bishop? Like it's one of those big bee. Is it a bee hive? Yeah, the big like kind of, yeah, it's like it's above the counter. That's mostly what you can see. You can tell it's a person though. And she's just like, yes, who is it?
Hello.
But they are high in intellect.
Yeah,
that's true.
A lot of PhD viewers out there get very upset.
That one person that isn't us might actually, who takes care of the forests.
Not really. No, I guess the local council would make sure nobody's breaking the bazillion laws that they have, but I don't keep track of them. I pick what I like and I pick what I choose. necessarily a place where people sell their goods, but it kind of is. It's trying to be above that. You know, it's like, no, we're not a place where people trade in because they've got debts to pay, but we are that kind of thing, you know.
Am I familiar with Mr. Fiddlewick, the owner? Subtly trying to give you a name.
How did you know that was his name? You've never been here before.
Now you're helping him out. You're not helping him out.
No.
Before I go in, can I look? Are there any markings outside the store that would denote like it's under a protection racket or something? Is there anything like that?
Give me a perception check.
7 add whatever my perception is. I'm guessing that's not enough.
Well, it depends how much your perception is.
15.
P. 0. 7.
Oh dear. You've really not. I mean, if this is Monster
I went
of the Week,
to push the door, but it was a pull
points.
door.
No, it's not that bad. You can't see any immediately, but you know that they, try not to advertise. Thieves can't a lot, so that's why I make your roll perception check, because it's not like it would be, carved into the side of the door. It would be in like a small area that someone wouldn't be looking at, but you just can't find it, or maybe it's not there. You don't know. So you enter, and this place badly needs somebody to just do some kind of inventory check, because it's a mess. There's books right next to glassware, that's next to furs, that's next to whatever that bubbling stuff is. It's all over the place. You're not sure how you're supposed to navigate this without just like aimlessly looking through the shelves. There is a front desk, however, it's again cluttered with stuff which just has price tags all over the place. The business owner is nowhere to be seen.
Okay, I'm going to climb up onto the counter to try and see if I can see the business owner from an advantageous high position.
You do not, however, you do see kind of sitting in, I guess because they don't have tills in this world, in kind of like a lockbox where the money would be kept, a sleeping figure. It is an imp that is kind of going... And as soon as you pop your head over it, it goes like this. And it kind of unfurls its little red wings and it flaps up and it goes, "What do you want? Hey, what do you want?"
Hello. I'm getting artist supplies. I'm an artist apprentice. Give a little flourish.
Okay.
Do you have any plaster of Aris?
I'll go in the back and check.
Okay, I also need a couple of other bits before... Oh, he's gone.
Oh, yeah, he's gone. As soon as you say, go in there. But you hear him go, "Wake up! Wake up, you!" And then you hear some stuff crashing in the background. "I say, wake up! Eh? Eh?" And then it just kind of is incoherent. Like, yeah. Okay, cool.
Specifically ornithology or about the amulet, essentially.
Cool. Can you give me a perception check or an investigation, whichever one you're more confident with? And I'll say I can't really... a bunch of books precariously piled. Going through it, you find 2 books that kind of fit what you're looking for. So the first... A bit noise. So the imp kind of looks at you. So did you say to it, it's like, "Nice shop"? Yes. Very nice.
Lovely.
Can I buy these books, please?
What?
Oh, Avril.
Hello.
Flips them open. One gold piece for both of them. They're actually 2 silver, 1 gold piece. I have spoken, tiny thing. I should note, for those who don't know, imps are like this tall, so it's just standing looking up at both of you. Yes.
I'm a gnome, but I'm standing on the counter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, even then, you're still bigger than him, I'm pretty sure.
I'm a half-orc, but I'm intimidated. So I pay the whole amount.
I should know, imps have like a little scorpion tail, which he is swishing from side to side.
Yeah, that's okay. 1 gold.
Yes. And then he'll looks and he leaves a little, which is why they bite gold, because gold is quite soft. So when you bite it, it leaves a bite mark. Looks at it. And then kind of, scuttle is perhaps a crow word, but it kind of like skitters. That's not much better. Down over the counter, and Renard, from your position, you can see kind of jams the tail into the lock, clunks it, and throws a gold coin in. Then Scuttle's back up.
Do I get
Do you want a
is
bag
it
with
like
that?
just open the lockbox a little bit, or do I get an idea of how much money's in the lockbox?
No, it's opening it like just a slither and stuffing it in, and maybe it's not gonna look at you, but it knows you're watching. But it's just do you want a bag with that? Points at you with the tail. We do bags now. Yes. Scuttles away. It's at this point that the owner the other co-owner comes through, and they're hefting this big bag of plaster of Aris and other stuff that's kind of, Is that enough for you? Do you want the whole thing?
That's right. Avril, could you carry this for me, please?
I can
Bag
put it
for
in
that?
Yeah. Do you want like a go away in it?
Oh yeah, I don't need all of that. That's far too much.
Oh, okay. They'll get out like a big scoop and scoop some of it in, and they kind of reach over and pull over some of the other stuff that you were asking for. It is a complete set. As I said, you'll have to make the mold yourself or get someone to make it, but you can now pretty much make a plaster of Aris or a plaster cast, without too much difficulty. And they I don't know, take like a big enough handful. I'll say for just simplicity, you can make maybe 3, let's say. So like that way, because I will have to make you roll for this unless you get someone else to do it. If you fuck up, then you've got 2 more shots. Okay. Altogether, that'll be 1 gold, because I didn't do the economy for this world very well, so it's just all 1 gold.
Cool. We gotta look at Avril. Do you want to get this? You've already got your purse out for the. Thank you, Avril.
I like to
I am
imagine
a pushover.
Well, I like to imagine that this half orc has like a little like flower embroidery purse, just
I was just imagining like a leather drawstring thing, but yeah.
Well, yeah, it could be a leather drawstring, but also like it's got a lot of flair, right? To it.
Is that what it would be called?
It'd be a pouch.
A pouch.
Because a purse is I think a purse is specifically with the little clasp handle. I don't know.
Okay.
I believe it's called a merce. A man purse.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
It's got chains and muscles, and it just says lads.
Spikes! It's got spikes on it.
There's a bottle opener somewhere.
Think of manly things.
No, because you open the bottle with your teeth.
I was about to say, I need to know, why is it everything that's marketed to blokes has a fucking bottle opener? The amount of stuff I got as a teenager, it's like, there's a bottle opener with it, and I'm like, great. I don't drink anything that's in bottles.
Baby.
Well, you're meant to be, so obviously.
Yeah, obviously. So, I'll just say that you guys collect that up. They do give you a bag. So it's more of a sack.
Nice.
But they give it to you for free.
Sack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Probably
was for
again.
Potatoes. But they gave you it. So I'll say, for simplicity, that you're all able to find each other relatively easily once more. And
just all come out shops and thingies straight across from each other. Like,
hi. It takes a little bit of, rejoining. They're not all just right next to each other. But yeah, you're able to reconnoiter easily enough. And I will say, through the magic of storytelling, that you've just reached when you need to get to the meeting. So,
I feel really calm.
oh, that's
Like,
good.
really, really calm. No one better
Oh.
disturb that.
I mean, don't you?
No.
Like that last meal. Sure, we all had indigestion after that.
What was wrong with that?
The gristle adds character to the meal.